So I've gotten the ends on the front and the back pieces for the bottom floor. Now, of course, I'm not gluing them onto the side pieces because the side pieces will actually glue on like this once we get all this done. But before we do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and do all the work on these faces, because it'll be a lot easier to do that while they're laying down and flat than it will be trying to do it while it's a box. So what I'm going to do, and I've already done one of these, one of the more complicated ones, is we're going to go ahead and do the cutouts to do this kind of stuff. Now, since this is going to be these are all just balsa, and I'm just using 1/16 inch by 1/4 inch balsa strips, and these actually line up perfectly with this outside edge. You can see it sets up because this is 3/8 inch foam core. There's 1/4 inch posts here, which means there's 1/8 of an inch hanging off. And these are, I'm sorry, these are not 16th, these are 1/8 inch balsa strips. So it actually came out nice and even. And I'll show you how I did this on another piece. This is the most complicated one, and this isn't quite finished. We still have to do the stuff in between the wood. And I also I've finished out the door here, but I need to finish out the windows. But those are going later because I got to do something a little different to those. So we'll get to the windows later, but right now I'm going to show you how we did that. So what I do is I just get my strip of balsa, I lay it down where I need it, make sure everything's lined up properly for that piece, and then I just mark it with a pencil wherever it is I need to cut it. Okay, so I'll mark it with a pencil, and then I'll use my my razor saw and my miter box that I showed you last time and just cut that off. So for instance, here's the piece that I've cut off for here. Now when I'm doing one of these walls like this, since each one of these pieces has to be custom cut, what I will actually do is I'll cut all of them for a wall at once, but I'll put a number on the back of the piece and then a number on the wall so I know exactly where they go. So if you see here, I've got, I'll see if we can get this on camera for you, but I've got all these pieces and they're all numbered, okay, 1 through 6 in this case, and then I've got corresponding numbers on the wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and so I know where everything goes. So now what I'm going to do with these is exactly like we did with the posts. I'll distress them a little bit. For the most part, on most of these, I'll just shave the corners off a little in some places. Most of it can be pretty light. And you don't even have to shave all the corners off. It's just to give them a little bit of variation in character. And you don't need to do the back, of course. And then once in a while, I'll just kind of carve a knot hole into it, just to give it some variation, so that it's not uniform across there. Because we want it to look a little worn and a little lived in, kind of old, and plus the fact that, you know, tools back in the Middle Ages, they weren't good enough usually to make very sharp corners on wood. So you want it looking a little beat up and stuff like that. So I just do that, and then we do the same staining technique with the paint that we did on the corner posts, and then I just glue them onto the wall one piece at a time, and go slow with this. Make sure everything is flush and fits well, and if you need to make adjustments to one piece after you get some glued down, just go ahead and make the adjustments. Don't try to force anything, just go slow and easy and get everything together the way it needs to be. So if we do all this work here like this now, then things go together easier later. Okay, so I finally got the woodwork done on the outside. Well, mostly, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I've got the doors all framed, all the framing in. This one is the right side. This is where, right here is where the chimney's going to be going in. And all this is going to be covered with that shed, so I didn't have to worry about doing any of this part. So that saved me a little bit of work. I will tell you now that doing this stuff is incredibly tedious and time consuming. This is at least a few hours worth of work. Measuring and cutting each little piece and distressing them and staining them and gluing them on and waiting for things to dry. So it's very time consuming and very tedious. However, I do not know of a quicker way to do this stuff and have it come out looking really good. Because you can see, let's see if I can get a light back here. If you look close, I mean, it's got all the wood grain, the distressing. If you're going for realism, I don't know of a better way to do this stuff than this. So to me, it's worth the time. One thing I would recommend, however, is that you do like one wall and then go do some other part of the project or something else completely, because if you try to sit down and do it all at once, it will drive you absolutely batty. So the one part I haven't done here is, you see I've got the inside of the doors framed up. I have not framed the inside of the windows. The reason is I'm actually going to use granny grating and put cross hatching in here. But I want to build these once I have the granny grating, and actually build the frames around the granny grate, because that'll be easier to build that way. But I don't have any right now. I've got to wait till this weekend to get it. So that part's going to be put aside a little bit. And you'll also notice that we don't have any posts on the side here. That's because this will actually fit to this post that's on the front, and then one on the back, and that's how it'll go together right there. So see if we can get that in the light so you can see it. So that's how that's going to go together, but we've still got some more stuff to do before we actually put the walls together here. So next time, I think what I'm going to be working on is actually making the doors that are going to go in here in these three sections. So, something to look forward to. Until then, you guys have a good one. Bye.